I met her at the airport, big set of heels, a right curvy arse, a little bit of a fuller figure, the rice belly as he keeps going on about. Oh my God, standing there thinking, yeah, wow, I've just won the lottery here. It was geezer. I was laying back and she was bouncing up and down, and I thought, I've got in heaven here. I really did. And I looked around and you know when it just clicks, that's definitely a bloke.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because some of them pull it off so well.
Okay, I'm with Barney. This
Right.
is Barney from England. I met Barney for the first time 3 weeks ago, and this is your second visit in?
This is my second visit. I was here about 2.5 years ago. I've got a friend that lives in Bohol, so that was part of the reason. I've got friends that are in Thailand, but they just like to get on the lash and get drunk by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So what I ended up doing, I was on a site called Tagged. I met a young lady. I met loads of them. They all appear and it's all, oh, I got no money, this, that, the other. Anyway, I met one and she had a big set of boobs and I thought, yeah, she'll do.
Hello, good morning, good evening, and welcome to Big World Cinema. Without further ado, we'll continue with what you're here for.
Started chatting to her and she ended up, one day I said to her, what you got for dinner tonight? She said, I said, what's in the fridge? She said, I've got nothing but water and ice in the fridge, and I really felt bad about that. So I ended up, like some of us guys do, I sent her about 3,000 peso, about 40, 50 pounds, $70 or something.
So hey, where was she in the Philippines?
She's in Lapu-Lapu,
Right.
Lapu-Lapu. So I sent her that and I thought, well, I need a holiday later on. I helped her out. I spent a lot of dough, guys. Quite a bit of dough, yeah. But it happens. This is what we do. Like,
but when was that?
2.5 years ago.
So what first introduced you to the Philippines?
I looked online. I've got a friend that lives in Bohol, and he was like the attraction that I could get out. And I've got someone in the Philippines, and it was either Thailand or the Philippines. And I've looked. I'd seen this man's videos,
Right.
and I'd watched some of your stuff and different bits of content, and I thought, do you know what? That sounds like a plan. I'll have a bit of a go at that. So I ended up after that, I think in October, it'll be 3 years ago, I bit the bullet and I just booked a flight. And I got on that and I come out, I met this girl. She met me at the airport, the way they do. And we ended up at a hotel. We went into a hotel called the Marco Polo, which is the equivalent of like a Four Seasons hotel.
So that was probably about, what, 7,000 pesos a night?
7,000 or 8,000 a night, yeah.
And how long did you stay there for?
I stayed there for about 4 nights.
So this was your first trip?
My first trip.
To the Philippines, and Cebu City was your first place you came to?
First place I came to was
Cebu,
Cebu, yeah.
lady
First one I met, yeah.
Online you came to see?
Yeah.
How was it?
How was it? Wow. I met her at the airport, big set of heels, a right curvy arse, a little bit of a fuller figure, the rice belly as he keeps going on about, but oh my God, just lovely. And do you know what I mean? I'm standing there thinking, yeah, wow, I've just won the lottery here. It's just a nice bird. It was okay. So met up with that.
And how old was she?
She was 25, 26 at the time.
Kids?
One son of about 4 or 5, lived with her mum. She lived in a squat, but I sorted that out like a mug. I went and rented her for 16,000 peso a month. I rented her a house for the year. Because I was...
Hang on. So let's backtrack.
Go on.
So you were with her for 4 days.
Oh, Philip, it gets better than that. Before I met her, I rented a house.
Before you met her, before you left the UK to come and meet her, you rented
her a house because she was in a squat that was going to get demolished.
Right.
So
allegedly,
yeah. But you hear all sorts of stories.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, some of these, if they said it's dark outside, you got to stick your head out the window yourself. But I got mugged or whatever. Hey, we all do it. Do you know what I mean?
So you rented her a house for a year.
A year, yeah.
And then so you came to meet her. How long were you with her?
I was with her the good part of the 2 weeks.
Okay, so
two and a bit weeks that I was here.
You stayed with her the whole time?
Yeah. She wouldn't let me go at all. You know what I mean?
When you were with her for those 2 weeks, what were your plans with her? Did you see a future?
I did see a future. I got on well with her, Copola, for the 4 nights. And then from there I was going to go and see my mate in Bohol. But what I ended up doing, we went to the Savoy in Mactan.
Right.
And I went there for a couple of nights, ended up 4 or 5 nights. Geezer, I was laying back and she was bouncing up and down. And I thought, I've gone to fucking heaven here. I really did. Do you know what I mean? You're an old bastard and you got something like that. It's just something else. But it's an eye-opener because from that, I had my experiences with her. She got offered a job in Japan. And off she went. I did say to her, I thought that was the one and only. I said to her I would have spent 1.4 million pesos and bought her a little house and we could have a kid and get married and that. No, I want to go to Japan for the experience. I said, go, because I don't have the right. I've messed up that many things in my life.
Yeah.
I didn't feel as if I had the right to turn around and say, hey there, we'll do that. So I just let her go and do.
What happened then with the house you rented? Did you...
Well, she had it for the year. She still messages me to this day. She's been out in Japan for a year and a half.
Oh, right, okay.
So another year and a half she's free of that, but she seems to think I'm going to be a get out of jail card at the end of it. Ain't happening. It ain't happening. You couldn't trust a word she says or an action, and I ain't going to get out of 20,000, 30,000 pound for a house. It's not going to happen. But
at the time you thought this was the girl.
I really did. She was lovely, and you know, you come over here, and I done it right, but I done it wrong. And then the next time I come, I've been in touch with Philip and a couple of other people, and I come and met Philip, and I sat down with him and we had an hour or so. You educated me to quite a bit of it, where to go and how to do it and that.
So this is your second time?
This is my second time.
So in the meantime, in the time that you went back to the UK and now, have you been in contact with any other girls?
I've been in contact with numerous girls, and I'm tagged.
Right. I've never heard of tagged.
And on Filipina Cupid. But the thing is, there's that many. How's your day today? I'm not so good. I got no rice, or I need money for the rent. Okay, all right. I need money for load. Well, when you get some load, call me back. That's the line you need to use. It's not okay. I'll send you something. It's, get some load and then you call me back.
Yeah.
And that normally gets rid of them. It's my kid's birthday. I need money for a birthday cake. Well, get dad to buy the birthday cake. But you got to go into those things. It's not being a twat or being brutal. Sometimes you just got to say it how it is. American women, British women, Canadian women, and they've all pissed you off, you know. And you get to that thing that you want something, you want a new start, and you want to be somewhere else. And trust me, coming out here is one of the best things I've done. This time I had a bit of education out of Philip, and I went to Bohol, and my eyes were open. I met up with someone. We got on these scooters. We went all over the place. I met about 3 or 4 women on that Filipina Cupid.
Yeah.
And as I was saying to Philip, I'm a bit. One of the guys educated me on what catfishing is. And I met this thing, and you know that song, that crazy frog, ding, 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 the frog with its eyes popping out. I fucking met her. I met her. It was just like, it looked right on the photos, and then I met her as, hello? You know, and
there's a lot of filtration going on.
And then there was another one. I thought she was taller than she was.
How can you tell on the website?
Well, you can't. It just gives you that she was 5'4". If she was 5 foot, she was. Do you know what I mean? And I'm walking around, and all I wanted to say, can you say, follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road, follow. She was just so short. But anyway,
did you end up in the sack with her?
No, mate, no. She marched me into Pizza Hut, and I bought her a pizza, and I got a little starter thing. She had half of that.
Only half?
Yeah, only half of the starter. She left me with half of it.
But nothing was going to develop in the bedroom?
My friend, no. I was a perfect gentleman. I walked her home. It was about a mile and a half.
And then you ran?
Then I fucking got down the road off. Earlier on, there was loads of eye candy and stuff looking, because you're foreign and that. And obviously, you know, you're thinking, hey, I'm gorgeous. It's not that you're gorgeous, it's just you got a big fat wallet. That's what they're really after. But it just is what it is. You got to embrace it for what it is. But I think a lot of us lads, right, we sit there and we go out for a couple of coffees, a couple of beers indoors in the UK or in America. You go out and have a few beers. If you curtailed that for a month or 6 weeks and saved up the extra couple of grand, you could come out here and have an eye-opening experience.
Since I hit 50, I was just.
I went into a little coffee shop. We got these coffee shops called Greg's, and there are bakeries in that. And I said,
in London.
Yeah, in Ashford near the airport.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there. I was having a coffee and a sandwich, and there was a couple of women coming, sat on the seat next to me, and they must have been 55 or 60, and I looked at them, I thought, ew, they're only my age, do you know what I mean? But it wasn't.
You're 60?
Yeah, I'm 61, yeah, but I'm gorgeous. So I'm told, do you know what I mean? Well, I'm told by the women here, I'm guapo or guapo, you know, gorgeous. But you just got to embrace it for what it is. And as I say, we're not too old to learn. We have to learn these things along the way. And meeting up with him, give me a bit of education. It's like going to school again. But unless you embrace it and take that,
But
it's hard.
It's a new life as well.
Yeah.
It's a new life. We don't realise when we get to a certain age. Well, in my 50s in Brighton, I was literally invisible.
Yeah.
And so coming over here, it was like a new lease of life to be with women again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Having not been with women for years in the UK.
But at the end of the day, he's living the life that we need to be living. Instead of sitting there like a sad fuck wherever you are in the world, guys, get on a plane, come out here, meet Phil, get a little bit of education, buy him a bit of dinner, and then get on with it. And he'll give you pointers as to where to go and where not to go. I actually met up with a guy and we went on a road trip, and he said his last trip here, he went to this girly bar and he said 6,000 pesos. This was about 4 years. He had 5 girls, all on all fours on the bed with their asses, and he was going from one to the other. And that was
6,000 pesos.
6,000 pesos on the cheap.
That's pretty cheap.
That was cheap, but.
And they were they boys or girls?
They were definitely girls, apparently.
Do you want to talk about your ladyboy story?
Oh my God! I got on the website and Phil said be careful and whatever, and I ended up getting on the this website.
This is Pina Love, isn't it?
This was on Pina Love, and this thing appeared, and it looks all right, and it had a proper set of lils and all that, and I met her around the corner from the yacht club, and it came towards me, and I thought, large hands like me.
But you actually sent me a photograph of the two of you together.
Yeah, I sat with it.
But you hadn't actually said yet that it was a ladyboy.
I thought, is it or isn't it? And you know when you got that doubt, and is it or isn't it? I sat with it for a while, and then I looked at it and I thought, it's definitely a bloke. There was just a couple of mannerisms. Do you know what I mean?
So how did you approach it and say?
I said, you're a man. And it got all defensive.
Well, they do, don't they?
Yeah, it got all.
Are you insulting me?
Yeah, I said, you're a man. And with my best English, you know what I mean? I used to get called One Top.
Right, sure.
Out of that film, you know,
yeah.
One Top, because I swear that much.
Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah, the Guy Ritchie film, One Top. Yeah. Feed them with the f***ing pigs. You can't do that here. You've got to be the gentleman. Shut your mouth. Otherwise, being a foreigner in this country, you're the outcast. You'll get in a lot of trouble.
To resolve it.
How did I resolve it? I told it to f*** off.
So you realised that it was a bloke, and then what did you do?
I looked around, and when it just clicks, that's definitely a bloke.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because some of them pull it off so well, and then I'm mugging myself off here. Any fucking colleague, I'm dead. Do you know what I mean? I've never in my life had that experience. But I walked off from way. I said, "You're right, f*** off," and I walked away. And if it had followed me out of the place, I swear to God, I went off the f***ing granny out of it. You know, it's like the old Crocodile Dundee, and he met that thing, and he put his hand up his kilt and got a handful of bollocks. I never got that far, but I just.
You're about to.
Well, I could have got to that. I could have got to that stage. So could you imagine that happening? I'd have fucking swung it around by the bollocks, mate.
What is the plan with the Philippines?
I've got to go back for work. I'll work with some nice people.
The plan is to work for the next 6 years.
When I get to 67, I get my state pension. I'd like to work to 70. I'd like to meet a nice woman over here. I've met a couple.
So the plan is to work for another 9 years?
Well, 7 or 8 years. Yeah, I want to come and retire here.
Okay, so you'll wait until you're 70.
No, I might not. Listen, if I work the 4 or 5 months of the summer, I can accrue 40 or 50,000 sterling.
Sure.
So if I could do that for the extra 3 years and accrue a lump of money.
But also by 67 you're going to be getting 1,500 in your pension anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I've got 5 kids. My little daughter, I'd sort her out, and if I end up with a right partner, I'll make sure she's got as such a property as a pension.
Okay, so before we go into that, what's your dating history? You have how many times have you been married?
I've been married once.
Right.
And I've got 5 kids by 3 different women.
Right. Okay.
Sounds like about 90% of the guys out there. You know what I mean?
What is your longest relationship?
Oh, dearie me, about 10, 12 years.
And that was with your first wife?
That was no, I never married. I just I got married to my 11-year-old's mum, and we were together about 8 years.
This is the Moroccan lady?
The Moroccan one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but she was just, I tell you what, she was like Pinocchio. She just could never tell the truth. But
so where did you meet her?
I met her online as well.
Right, and in the UK?
No, yeah, when I was in the UK, yeah.
And where was she at the time?
She was in Morocco. Okay. And I brought her to the UK.
Okay, so where did you first meet her?
I met her online, and I met her right there.
So you went to Morocco to meet her?
Yeah.
And then you brought her back
I brought her back here to live
in the UK.
But it just the dynamics of the the different cultures. She was on her own agenda. She wasn't on the page I wanted her to be on. So I just had to send her back. I sent her back.
When did you have your daughter with her?
Well, my daughter's 12 in October. So
yeah, and so she was living with you in the UK?
she was living with me in the UK.
And then she went back to Morocco with a month?
Yeah.
And you haven't seen your daughter for a while
I've
now?
not seen my daughter for 6 years because of her trying. Because of the mum.
But you're still FaceTiming your daughter, yeah?
Yeah, I do, but she's manipulated the daughter.
By the mother?
Yeah. And I recently, the last 3 or 4 months, I've just stopped giving it money because he ended up married to someone else, and it was as if my money.
She's married someone else.
She
now?
married someone else, got another kid.
Well, yeah.
But I was giving her money
for your daughter, yeah.
For my daughter, but I was giving too much. I was giving between £350, £400 and £1,200 a month. Because that's what you do. You just make sure everything's covered. But
you make sure your daughter's okay.
Yeah, definitely, without a shadow.
So now your plan is to look for a Filipina to marry and settle down here?
Yeah, that's what I want. I mean, we all want the happily ever after sometime properly in our life, and if I could find that and achieve that.
We were talking earlier before we went on film, we were talking about whether, like a permanent relationship or a dating experience would be a better option.
Honest with you, the dating would be a better option. But the other side of it, if I had a base here and someone to come back to and had 4 or 5 months work and come back for 3 or 4 months and work between, I've got a lot of friends that do that.
So your plan is to keep coming back over the next 7 or 8 years until you do retire. So the plan is to keep coming back.
Yeah. And if I had a woman in tow in the meantime, married and somebody you can trust, that would be one of the options that I could do. Failing that, I'd do like you, I'd just come and rent an apartment and come in and go, because this is lovely, your place here, and for not a lot of money compared to what you pay if you had this and it just went yellow or something.
Oh, okay, so it's right, where were we, Barney?
Well, we were chatting about all sorts of things, but when you get over here, like I've done for the second time, you got to educate yourself.
You should be lining up for three on a day. 2 aren't going to.
Or they're going to be turning up when they think, not when you want them to turn up. But the other thing is as well, you got to realise you're the prize, not them.
Yes.
You got to understand that you're the jackpot.
You're not the simp.
Yeah, that's it. You're not the simp. You've just got to understand that you're the prize here. And if they can get hold of you, they've won the lottery. And there's so many of them out there, so many you can go and choose from. And it's not being up yourself or anything. You've just got to get into that mindset. Because me coming this time and going about and that, it's a realisation. It's hitting the ground running. It's no good sitting indoors like all you are and just thinking, I'll talk to a couple online, because you ain't going to achieve nothing. Get off your ass, get on a plane, come here and have a bit of an adventure. And don't do 2 weeks, do 3 or 4 weeks if you can. And just take it easy. You don't have to have big hotels. You can live out here for cheap. Some of the places are for next to nothing. $15, $20, $30 a night. It's not a lot of money in the bigger picture. If you come for a month, you do $1,000, $1,500.
Is your plan to come here like for a month each year now?
No. My next plan is to come here for at least 2 months, maybe 3 months.
When would that be?
I'm thinking if I can get back in September, October, I'll do that. But failing that, I might leave it till November, December, then I'll do this.
And are there different places you want to visit?
Listen, I want to go and visit Dumagetti of Bohol.
Hang on. Sorry, Barney.
Go on.
I didn't can put record on.
Oh, bollocks.
I've got it on there, but shows how professional I am.
Well, no, it's just is what it is, you know what I mean? It's having excellent entertainment like me, and I don't stop effing and blinding, that's pure London.
So if you like what you're seeing here, hello, and want to stay connected with life in the Philippines, I think you need to subscribe and click the notification bell. Thank you.
Next time I come here, I want to do 2 or 3 months, being that I just want to have a better feel of the place. I've educated myself. I've been all over the island of Bohol. I want to go to Dumagetti. I want to do a few other places.
You come for your next few visits. Is your plan to go to different islands?
I would like to go to
Ilo, yeah.
And what's it called? Where I've just said
Davao.
Well, Davao. I'd like to do that as well.
Yeah.
I'd like to have a look around, because apparently you go down Mindanao, Davao, the women are something else out there. You know, there's a lot of women, and a lot of them haven't seen a foreigner before. You know, so you've got the rarity factor.
Well, they haven't met a foreigner like you, Barney.
No. No one would meet nothing like me. I'm unique.
So your plan is to try and find somebody to settle with.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Have you got sort of like a particular woman in mind, an age range, or?
Listen, I've got to say, getting older, something that's 18, 23, 25, that ain't a bit of me. I want something a bit older. I don't really want something with loads of kids.
Because you've got enough kids yourself.
I've got 5 myself, and I don't want to be responsible for someone else's mess ups or, you know, little fatherless beings, for another word for it. So I would like to find one that's, you know, can hold its own. Maybe got 1 kid, maybe no kids. Yeah. And you know, kids ain't the be all and end all, but I want something that you can look in the eye and it doesn't lie or bullshit you. You know, extract
the woman here.
The woman, not the man.
Hi, my name's Jerry.
You know, it's just you got to find the right one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like you say, it's a minefield. It's just finding something that fits or something you're happy with.
Is your plan to build a house or something? Is that
I wouldn't mind. I won't build a house or buy one right away. I'll rent a place for a bird.
So do you want to live in the province then, basically?
I wouldn't mind being in a bit of province, but a bit away. But I wouldn't mind if I was staying in. I'd stay in Pangalao.
Right.
In Bohol, which is a bit lively, but I wouldn't want to stay in the lively bit because it's a bit dear for number one, and there's too much going on. I like. So you didn't find
you were there in Bohol for the last 2 weeks. You didn't find it boring or anything?
No. Listen, I stayed at this place. It's got a nice little swimming pool. Yeah. It's quiet.
Will you give your mates?
His place is called the Midnight Inn, and it's in Dawis. And it's a lovely little place. It's got pushed off the main road. You can get into Alona in 15-20 minutes on a scooter.
So you rented a scooter?
I rented a scooter. I've ridden loads of bikes in my younger days, as we all have. Do you know what I mean?
I never did.
You didn't, no? Okay. But you know, I got about and to educate myself, coming to a junction. And some of these crossings, they're not how we would anticipate back in the West. So what I'd do, I'd approach a junction, I'd make sure I'd have a tuk-tuk on my left or a car on my left, and it'd be like protection. So you go through the junction, you ain't going to get squashed by something coming the other way.
So talking about protection, whilst you've been with these women this time, have they always asked for you to load up or?
No. I've not really had, but you know, I've gone in covered up. There's no way.
Oh, you're going
because I'll tell you for why. I've talked to a few guys and they say there's a lot of HIV around here.
Right.
So be careful. There's a percentage of HIV.
Okay.
And you know, that's the one thing you just don't want, lads, do you? So be careful.
Right.
Make sure you got one of them things on to keep it covered. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of them are strict Catholic and they don't want a condom. They want you coming and getting pregnant. Oh, I got baby now. You must give me money every week. No. Yeah. No, just keep it covered, lads. You need to keep it safe. Keep your money in your pocket.
So your plan is to come for a couple of months a year now?
Well, a couple of 3 months. If I find the right woman, I'll come back for 2 or 3 months, go back and then come back. If I could do 4 or 5 months a year here, I'd be over the moon.
Right.
That would be the ideal plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I can live for a fraction of what it costs me. I went out with this woman yesterday and we had 2 plates with bits of chicken, a bit of rice, 2 bottles of water and a little Sprite.
And what did you have?
Well, that was it between the two of us, 160 pesos, which is less than £2, less than $3. And that was adequate. It wasn't making a pig of yourself. You don't need flash restaurants and that. Just these little places. You can get people coming up and begging and playing the guitars. And I said to her, any more guitar players, tell them in your language I'm tone deaf. I can't hear nothing. I just won't look at him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just get pissed off with these things or I'm pushing you. Oh, give me. I've got no money. I only got card.
So have you found a difference? You've been in Cebu and Bohol. Have you found much difference between the 2 islands at all?
There's a vast difference.
And what have you preferred so far?
I prefer Bohol. I really do prefer Bohol.
In what respect?
The shopping malls going around them there, it's a bit more spread out, it's a bit more toned down. But having said that, when I've got here, and you go like around Mactan, Newtown and all that, and where I met you and all that, it's okay, you can wander around, there's no threat, just keep your wallet close and you know, a bit of diligence, you're fine. You know, there's no real threat. It's a safe place to be. You know, I've left the keys in the motorbike and gone back and thought, shit, the motorbike, no,
Yeah.
One of the lads left his phone on the bike for 20 minutes and went out. It was still on there.
Yeah.
So no, there's not major thieving in that. I'm not saying it's the thing to do, but getting off your backside and getting on a plane is the best thing you can ever do.
Took you quite a long time. How many years had you been watching videos before you?
Oh geez, I've been watching your videos maybe three and a bit years.
Yeah, but had you been to other places in Asia? Have you visited?
I've been to Thailand.
When did you go to Thailand?
Oh geez, a good number of years ago.
Okay.
A good number of years ago, and I wouldn't go back to Thailand because I found the women there too coarse and too just in your face with it. And here, a lot of them are very sweet. Okay, a lot of them are thieving bitches, but at the end of the day, well, they've all got a story. You got to get online, and it's we can video call if you send me some load. Well, give me a call when you got some load.
Yeah.
You don't want to be taking. You can end up helping half the world, but you're not doing anything for your advantage. You just got to sift through them and make an educated guess whether it's right or wrong. I think it's not an easy thing to do.
So what is your advice to guys watching on the other side of the world?
Well, I'll be very honest with you. I watched the Black Filipino, Jay. He said, listen, it's all right sitting indoors and watching this. Just get on a plane and come. That's all I can say. Get on a plane. The best thing I've done is getting on that freaking plane and coming here. Spunk a few quid, have a bit of an adventure. I swear to God, the one thing I will say is if I died tomorrow, I've put up on my WhatsApp vlog, I've put, and some of my mates have seen it. I've had the best of times. I've been in a swimming pool like Phil at 6 o'clock in the morning, no one there, and I was in a pool this morning at my mate's place, nothing else around, and the girls were in the kitchen. I said, right, I want an omelette and a bit of toast.
Yeah.
And it was just like being, I'm not saying a G or a Don, but it was just a different level. You could do that. You couldn't do that anywhere else in the world. And it was just nice to be able to do it. Yeah. Put my omelette on, cheese omelette please, bit of toast. I had my swim, went and dried myself off, but then it was all ready. I just went and sat down and had it. It was just a nice experience. It's level. It's not like being in Greece or being in Miami or going to Mexico and you've got to have your wits about you and hello sir, how are you? They're all very respectful, lovely people.
Very polite,
nice people. Do you know what I mean?
You get called sir wherever you go. It's really nice.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to be respectful back, and learn a little bit of the language.
What do you know? What language?
Salamat, and then if you want to say it respectful, Salamat Po, which is a bit more respectful. All these little things just come into play.
It's like a really lovely thing to say.
Yeah. Salamat Po.
So tomorrow you're going back to the UK.
Unfortunately,
I don't want to remind you of that, but how do you feel about going back home?
Do you know what? I've been here 3 weeks, so I've got personal circumstances. I should have been here a month ago. I had some work things come up. My kid's mum's not well. She could expire at any time, so I stayed around for the sake of my kids, but wrongly, because like us guys, you stay around, you do for your kids, and you're on the back burner. Another thing as well, when I go to work, I'm like the hamster on the wheel.
Yeah.
And I can't believe we're nearly halfway through this year, guys. And you know it yourself, you do night shifts, day shifts, you work hard, and the year's gone. And from being 40s to get to 61, it passes like that.
Exactly.
It's just so fast. And you get off that hamster wheel and you come here and you have a bit of it and you're like, well, I should have done this ages ago.
This is why I said to you about retiring. You're waiting until you're 70 to retire.
It's not. I can retire at 67, take my state pension.
Yeah.
But if I get the opportunity to work for my people,
I appreciate that.
I would go and nick £1 million peso a year, so that after 3 years I can buy another place, and if I've got my end of life partner, I can make sure she's secure. That's the only reason I do it. But if I didn't have that, I've got a bit of money around me. I've not got fortunes. I've owned property. I've not got property. I've got a bit of money sitting around. But if I had, I don't know, suppose I had my state pension and about 100k around me, I'm doing well. I don't need to work from 67. I could just come out here and live full time. But I do like to work. The other thing as well, my stepdad got to an age that he sat on his arse and he ended up out in Ireland watching the Jeremy Kyle show and drinking tea, stupid grin and eating biscuits. Then he had a stroke and he died.
How old was he when he died?
He was 75.
Oh my God.
But the thing is, if he'd have got off his ass and done more, he might have had longevity of life.
Yeah.
So, sitting there, lads, retirement, you got a few quid in that, doing nothing just ain't good. You come out here, you walk about. I've got osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, a bit of carpal tunnel. I've got arthritis in my shoulders. The heat helps on your bones. You can walk around a lot better, and it's just.
How have you felt being here this time of year? Because
it's very hot, mate. It's in the 30s.
Exactly.
And
it's very humid.
Yeah, but you get used to it. Do you know what I mean?
Get used to it. I've got used to it. I don't have the AC on. I just.
No. But this is pleasant. We're sitting here.
Yeah, a little fan on.
A little fan on. A drop of water in that, and just embrace it for what it is. That's what you got to do. Embrace it for what it is. You're not home. You're doing something different. My kids are 2 40-year-olds by different women. I've got a 35 and a 34 and the 11-year-old. I don't get to go over there that often, and it's like you have to have an invite to see your kids. What sort of life is that? You've done your best for them throughout your life, and then it's like you need an invite to come over. It's like it's boring. Lads, and that's a truthful statement. You'll be sitting there thinking, well. Yeah, I might go over and see them twice a month. 3 times a month. And I don't speak to 2 of my kids because their partners are interesting. And I tell them that partners are interesting. And then they block you on the phone. It's like, well, get over yourself. Do you know what I mean?
So talking about kids, do you want to have kids in the future still? Or you?
Well, I've got a brother that's 51. He's got a 3-year-old. And he lives out in Ireland. And I go and visit him. And the 3-year-old's like, he's on a Duracell, supercharged, up and down and all over the place. And he's awake at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you are anyway.
Yeah, I am. But when I'm working, I'm up at 4 or 5 in the morning. I can be out till 10, 12 at night, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. But that's full on. But the other side of it, like you said, I like to get up at 5, 6 o'clock. I like to have the whole day here. I like to get up, swim, a bit of Bluetooth music, sit and jump around, have a shower and whatever, have a good shave, and just get into my zone and just have a great time.
You didn't really answer the question about kids.
Well, I don't, but this is what I'm getting around to. I really don't need to have any more kids. And if you've got a woman that's got a kid or whatever, okay, embrace it. The kid doesn't have to live with you, it can live with her mother, and just take it for what it is. Give them a couple of quid for half a bag of rice now and again, and they're going to be happy. Do you know what I mean? But you don't really, at our age, 61, you don't want someone else's screaming little fatherless thing.
Also at my age, I don't really want commitment to tied down to anybody.
No, but you've got it right. But each and every person to their own here.
Sure, I know. Yeah. Okay, Barney.
Well, it's been interesting, mate.
Nice one, mate.
Oh, geezer, you know what I was going to say? Smell that. That's the bird I had last night.
Oh, no.
But anyway, God bless, guys.
Just a quick reminder to please click the thumbs up button if you liked the video, or thumbs down button if you didn't. Obviously. Thank you.
Cheers, Barney.
Cheers, mate. God bless. Lovely to be here.
Is there anything to add? What were you?
Well, I've just got to say, it's like coming to this mall. It's all an education. You've not dragged me. We went for a walk. I've got an agenda later on. This has been my last night here.
What's your agenda?
I've just got someone visiting me later on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be going diving later on. It won't be in the water.
You'll be going muff diving.
There you go, son. Yeah. But coming here and just having a look and learning how to do things, and we're in here. We've ordered a couple of soft drinks. I've got a shake. You've got an iced tea, and they put a load of bread and olive oil and that salmic on the table, and it's just a nice thing after you. So it's a nice thing to be doing and getting educated.
Very civilised, isn't it?
Very civilised, absolutely. I've got to say, and don't take this the wrong way, take it as a compliment. You're like a poor version of Michael Caine, mate, but you're a fucking proper geezer. And you're a pleasure to be around, and to meet, some people come across as right tosses or arseholes on these channels and that, but yeah, I've learned a lot being around you and watching your videos. I really have.
Thank you.
And it has inspired me over the course. I mean, you and the black Philippine, just cut off your backside and come here. It's the best advice you can ever give to someone, and that's what I try to do with people. Don't just talk it or sit in your arse and think about it and talk to them and give them a couple of quid. Get off your arse, come here and meet them. And it's all doable, it really is.
What's been your best experience here?
That first visit, when I had that 25, 26-year-old, and I was in the Savoy Hotel, and I was laying back and she was bouncing up and down on my Hampton, and I just felt like I died and gone to heaven. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like the little waitress that's cleaning the tables here. She looks delightful as well.
Sure, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Charles. Appreciate it. I mean, that's just got something about it, isn't it? That'd be very welcoming.
So what's been your worst experience here?
My worst experience, meeting up with that thing online, and it had bigger bollocks than me.
Right. But I thought you were quite looking forward to that.
Well, the bollocks. No, not the bollocks. I thought, you know.
In fact, Barney sent me a photograph.
I was sitting with it, and I was trying to figure it out.
Photograph, and the following day, I was going to send Barney a message saying, "How big was that bird's bollocks?" And then he messaged me saying, "You'll never guess what. That bird turned into be a ladyboy." And I had second guessed it from the photograph, but I wish I'd sent him that message because I was right.
See, but the other thing is, if you'd have got caught out like that in a different country opposed to here, you know, you've got to be very respectful. And Filipinos are the first class, and we're the dogs, we're the underclass citizens in a lot of respects here.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful, because you can't go kicking off like you would back home and knock 7 girls of shit out of it.
No.
Otherwise, you know, I should be embarrassed to say it, lads, but at the end of the day, it's a learning curve. You know what I mean? Getting caught out. I mean, you don't want caught out like that. It's just not a good look, is it?
No.
As I say, just got to embrace it. It's like sitting here with a couple of soft drinks and a bit of bread and that. It's quality. It's something to do different.
Would you say Filipinos are conservative in the bedroom?
It depends how you get them, do you know what I mean? I mean, that one I got hold of the first one, and I'll get slaughtered for this, but she was giving me an old nod, and I went to stuck my finger up her arse, and I felt a fully formed turd up there.
How did you know it was a turd?
Well, it must have been a turd. It just felt like the shape of a turd.
But had you touched a turd before?
No, not until then. I was like, oh, fucking hell. But we've all had shits, and it just, you know, when you have a shit and it's really solid and that, it just felt like that would look sort of thing, you know what I mean?
Thank you for bringing that to me, Barney, whilst I'm eating my bread.
You just have, that brown sauce on the bread, that's putting you off a bit, isn't it? The old balsamic vinegar, huh? Yeah, if you touch that, it looks a bit like that.
You've been watching Uncle, the man from Bigg World Cinema. Please like, subscribe and share with your friends.